You go, hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, have you ever heard of Unidragon.com?
Have I ever heard of Unidragon.com?
Yes, Unidragon.com.
Why, yes, I have heard of Unidragon.com. That's the puzzle dude.
The puzzle dude, that's correct. He has tons of puzzles, and of course, he is the best and original wooden puzzles.
You have owls.
Guess what is the #1 best-selling puzzle?
The owl.
Do you think you had anything to do with that?
No, everybody loves owls.
Well, right now, you can get 40% off in stock if you go to unidragon.com/products/enchanting owl. You need to make sure you get yours today. Now, they also have 2 to 6 days for shipping. You can domestically ship within the United States. They have a great customer support if you ever have any questions regarding your puzzle, except for how to put it together. You can email them at care@unidragon.com. If you want to get 10% off, you can use our code DRAGONTECH. Again, that's Dragon, DRAGON, Tech, TECH, for a 10% off discounts. Now, if you want the original, go to unidragon.com. Beware of fakes. Only get your wooden puzzles at unidragon.com.
Get them all.
Hey, Mike.
What?
Have you heard of the Homebrew podcast?
I totally have. Get it, nerds. We're hunting space dinosaurs.
The Homebrew podcast is the best adventure. It's published weekly and is everywhere podcasts can be found.
They're veteran Dungeons & Dragons players who love phenomenal stories, endearing characters, and a good adventure. They're currently engaged in a reimagined 5th edition sci-fi campaign called Absurdism and a Millennium Abroad. Whether you're new to D&D, a seasoned DM, somewhere in between, or just enjoy a good story, you come to the right place. Join them while they explore the universe and push the boundaries.
So explain to me, Mike, what does the 5th edition mean?
They're using the 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons rule set put out by Wizards of the Coast.
Catch it online today at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts. You can find them at facebook.com/homebrew podcast, or you can check them out at twitter.com/thehomebrew-DND, or again, anywhere you get your podcast feeds.
Why don't you just go to https://thehomebrew-podcast.com?
Well, that would be a good idea, Mike. You can find them there also. We would like to thank Podcorn for sponsoring this episode of TechTime Radio. Explore sponsorship opportunities and start monetizing your podcast by signing up at podcorn.com/podcasters. Let me tell you about Podcorn. Podcorn is an absolute must for any podcaster starting out. Now, when we started out TechTime Radio, we started out in a back office with a couple of mics. We expanded to a studio, and then now, as you can see, we're on the radio and have distribution into other markets. Having the ability to have Podcorn at the start of our podcast would have been a dream come true. Guess what? With Podcorn, you now have the amazing opportunity for podcasts to receive sponsorship, such as host reads, interview segments, and topical discussions. With Podcorn, there's no middleman. Podcasters of all sizes can browse and choose opportunities right on their platform, set their own rates, and collaborate with brands directly without exclusivities. You never give up the rights of your podcast in Podcorn, and they're here to support you everywhere possible. Visit podcorn.com. Again, that's podcorn.com. Podcorn is a true success for those starting their podcast dreams.
Coming to you from the shores of the Pacific Northwest, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
I'm excited. I'm really excited. I'm so excited.
Wow, you're that excited for the show today, Mike.
That's what I get for doing commercials, don't I?
That's right. When you think the commercial's off, and I may still be recording it for a video to be played
I'm
later.
Excited.
Thank you, David. I'm excited also.
I sounded really excited there.
You were, by the third take. You weren't excited at all on that, really, but okay.
You're like, you need to say you're excited.
Nope. Welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, technology news of the week. The show for the everyday common person with insightful segment subjects and weeks ahead of the mainstream media. Today we got one topic that no one is talking about that will be out there in the next week and a half. It's going to be
What is that?
It's our voice over IP outages that happen.
yeah.
So we're going to be talking about that, which our voice over IP is essentially cloud services.
VoIP.
Yes, voice over IP. So you'll see
Yes.
it as VoIP, but essentially it is cloud services to run your phone. We're going to be talking about that. I'm Nathan. Welcome to the show. We are live streaming in the studio at 1150 KKNW 11 at KKNW
You
1150.
Get that? All right. You sure?
We're on Twitch TV. So if you go to twitch.tv/TechTime, we're on Twitter /TechTime. We're on YouTube /TechTime. We are on, is that my phone?
Your
My
phone's
phone,
buzzing.
My phone's going off. And we're on every streaming media service. And we're only on live Saturday.
Are we on Pinterest?
No. I don't think we're on Pinterest, but we are on Instagram, so we can take
Yes,
pictures.
we are on Instagram.
Okay, so we're 4 to 6 p.m. We're not on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, not 4 to 6 p.m. or Sunday. If you're listening to us during that time, you're listening to a rebroadcast. But you can always find out the most up-to-date information and insight regarding our show at techtimeradio.com. That's techtimeradio.com. And as long as FireEye doesn't hack away at it, it will always be up and running. So you have nothing to worry
You just
about.
can't help yourself, can you?
What's that? Yeah, FireEye, whatever they got there, their new flunky guy isn't as good. So he's struggling a little bit. So they better get back senior dude because they try to compromise it a little bit.
What are you even talking about?
Well, the website, so we get these compromises on the website. We have a WordPress site, and on the WordPress site, we have a tool that actually takes a look at IP addresses that log in. So when I see
you got
Virginia
another one?
and New York, and I see them randomly coming on in with the password attempts, they're just not as good as the previous guys. So, all right.
Because they didn't pay anybody off.
That's right. Tech Time is a weekly 2-hour show that talks about current technology in a simple format without having to geek out. David, let's start the show.
You're going to totally geek out.
Now on today's show.
Oh my
On
God.
today's show.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's awesome. This week on the show, who is the Facebook whistleblower that is going to be on 60 Minutes this Sunday? We're going to be talking about Facebook. Facebook has been blown up because a whistleblower has gone to Congress and has provided documentation about Facebook's ethical and unethical processes to engage younger audiences into being a part of their social media platform, and some very unethical statements about how they want to dominate essentially the influencing of people. So a whistleblower has released a bunch of documents.
They already are.
And she is going to be, did I say she? I did say she. She is going to be on 60 Minutes on Sunday. So you're going to want to catch that. We're going to be talking a little bit about that to give you a heads up. We have Amazon announces Astro, the home robot. So you remember the Jetsons?
Yeah.
So you got Rosie the maid, right?
Yep.
And then you have Astro the
robot dog.
The robot dog. And we're going to be talking about that. Amazon's coming out with a robot type companion for your home called Astro. And then we're going to be talking about the FCC's planning to stop robocalls. We also have TV solutions regarding a brand new TV and computer screens. If you purchased a brand new TV in the last year and you haven't had the same high-end graphical looks that you thought you would get with a brand new 4K TV, it may be something that we're going to be talking about today that you didn't think about when you purchased that TV, or computer monitors, or USB devices that plug into your machine. We got all of these to talk about on Technology Insider. And then we have, of course, Mike's Mesmerizing Moment, brought to us by Story Coffee, along with our whiskey tastings. All right. Now, when we start off each of our show, our second hour, you're going to have to wait till the end of the show to see what we got on the second hour, but that's going to be fantastic also. If you want to be a part of the show, you can call us 425-373-5527 or 1-888-298-5569, which is 1-888-298-KKNW, and it can be a part of the show. Now, Mike, it's time for us to get to our loaded question of the day, brought to you by Elderberry Boost. Get your Elderberry Boost today at elderberryboost.com.
Elderberry Boost.
Oh, man.
That's right. That's going to be coming on up after this first
Yeah,
commercial
okay.
break. All right, here we go. What is one thing you were terribly wrong about in your life?
Not going to Dartmouth.
Okay, it's not the ex-wife. I like that. Okay.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that.
You were going to say that? I was figuring you were going to another ex-wife joke.
You
but okay.
you saw it. We
We did talk a little bit the matter. So, okay, what didn't you do for that college?
I was in high school. I had a couple of offers to go to some really prestigious high schools, and I had been moved around all my life, so I didn't want to leave the area where I was in, and I made the decision to just go to the local community college instead.
Instead of a big
Instead
college.
of going to an Ivy League school.
If you would have gone to the Ivy League school, then you would have been Mike in the morning, and you would have never been on TechTime Radio. So
Possibly.
I'm glad that you didn't. So now that you're on TechTime
I'm
Radio.
not.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. All right. Well, as always, we have our whiskey tasting during the commercial break. We'll see if we like our whiskey, if it gets 1 thumb up, if it gets 2 thumbs up, or 0 thumbs up. It's we're not going to talk about it now, but it's a very prestigious whiskey that we have. But let's get our stories going here in our next segment to start the show.
What's happening in the world of technology? This is our top stories in the first 5 minutes.
All right. Story number 1, Amazon announces Astro, the home robot. Amazon is launching Astro. It's the first household robot powered by its Alexa smart home technology. Boy, that just makes me feel secure.
Okay.
Right?
We've talked about this I don't know how many times, and you still have one. So
I have like 8 Alexa devices.
So I don't know why you would even be like...
Because you can actually configure your firewall on your router correctly, then Amazon doesn't get your information that goes back out to it. So there's ways to actually block that stuff.
Oh, maybe we should be talking about that instead of Astro.
Yeah, but that's probably a little bit heavier.
A mobile Alexa, that sounds pretty cool, except if you live in a house with stairs.
So just think of it. The company says that that's remote control when you're not at home to check on your pets, people, and home security. That is a patrol device. Essentially, it looks like a Roomba device that has it has
a flat screen.
Oh, it's a flat screen on it. It's not color. It's a face. And so like when you ask it to play music, it will come on and it'll try to beep out to the music. It also has a telescoping camera. I don't know why you would need this, but I guess you would need it. So that comes out of the middle of the unit. So if I wanted to take
it's
pictures.
like R2-D2.
Yeah. It comes up just like R2-D2. It comes on up, and then it gives you the ability to look at what's going on in your house room to room. So let's say that you had problems with a gas knob, and you wanted to see if you left your gas knob on.
That's Uncle Eddie. He's a gas knob.
That's right. You could actually take it on up, and the periscoping camera would pop out of its head, and it would take a look and let you know the comfort of home that you didn't have to worry about.
That's not why you use those excuses.
Well, the retail giant suggested that it's going to be $999.99. I don't know why they had to do the 99, but they really wanted to make sure.
There's a psychology behind that. But
97 is actually considered a better number than 99.
Yes, I know.
Okay. All right. There you go. All right. We should talk about that different because that 7 is more a calming number than the 99. The 99 is an aggressive number. All right, the robot will ship.
Okay.
I'm giving you psychology, Mr. Psychology.
Let's talk about marketing while we're up here.
Okay. The robot will ship later this year for additional price of $1,499. Now, the Astro robot is going to sell out in minutes, it says, when it becomes available, but we are understanding that you can have the feature to put it into out-of-bound zones and do not disturb, so you do not have to feel that your privacy will be compromised with Astro. That's what they said.
Yeah, you already have that with your pet, so you don't need that with your robots.
So there you go. Yeah. We got it first, though.
Your dog watching you while you're doing stuff.
Nobody else has got Astro yet, but Astro will be all over the news once our show airs.
Yeah.
Okay, story number 2. You're up, buddy.
Hey, did you get any robocalls today?
I did not get a robocall today. I got a couple last night, though.
You like them, though.
I do. I answer them all the time.
Which is funny because I hate them. I get them all the time.
Oh, I try to answer them, and I try to hit 1, and sometimes I think I'm on their do not call list now because when I hit 1 to talk to the live operator, then it just goes to dead air and they hang up on me.
That's because they want to leave a dumb message like I got about my courier.
Yeah, like your courier from last week's episode. Make sure you listen to last week's episode.
Right.
That was hilarious.
So, that's the funny thing because ending robocalls is like a big deal. It's like whack-a-mole. As soon as you get rid of one, a whole bunch more pop up. Well, today's second story is about how the FCC is planning on stopping that.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if they're going to be able to do it, but Jessica Rosenworcel, who is the acting chair of the Federal Communication Commission, thinks she's found a new hammer to stop the illegal automated spam calls originating from their places of origin, which is mostly from overseas locations. That's why we have so many problems with
it. Is. I hardly ever have a robocall with someone when I actually hit the numbers when they speak clear English. I don't think I've had that at least for 5 to 6 years.
Yeah, that's not a surprise. So she's proposing to close a loophole in FCC regulations to require gateway providers to stop robocalls before they get to your phone. The agency adopted the proposal called the Targeting Gateway Providers to Combat Illegal Robocalls. Wow, that's a very descriptive title. During its monthly meeting on Tuesday.
Okay.
The proposed regulation would put additional requirements on U.S.-based gateway providers that pass through voice traffic and to other networks in the U.S. These gateway providers, which are smaller, low-profile companies that hand off calls from network to network, are often used by foreign scammers to disguise phone calls entering the U.S. These new regulations would ensure that those gateway providers are verifying those calls before they pass them on to other operators in the U.S.
Cool.
We'll see how that works.
Okay.
Jessica Rosenworcel says what we're doing is saying that the first gateway provider into the United States has some responsibilities. By imposing these requirements to identify where the traffic is coming from, we're going to stop illegal robocalls before they reach you in your home. She also noted that difficult diplomatic relationships between the U.S. and other countries can make it difficult to bring those bad actors to justice in the U.S., but she emphasized that the agency needs to find new ways to stop them. So hopefully that works, because I hate them.
You hate them?
I hate them. I get at least 5 or 6 a day.
Wow. I only get one. Although I do get the person now that's calling up all the time for the police department charity auction that's coming in. But I try to say that I'm willing. So they say,
Are you talking about the policeman's ball?
Yeah, the policeman ball, the fake, which really doesn't exist. Anybody, if you get that, if you're giving this money away to them, that's not the way to do that. Work with your local police department and their charities that they have. Don't do this policeman ball type of deal. But I always offer them $1 million. It says, can you offer $10, $20, $50? What are you willing to offer? And I say $1 million. And then as soon as it goes to try to get a live person, they hang up on me.
Yeah.
So I maybe have to lower that number a little bit, huh?
100,000.
100,000. Okay, maybe then they'll answer it. All right, here we go. The biggest story of the week is about Facebook's Whistleblower that will be live on 60 Minutes this weekend. Let's listen to a special audio clip of the upcoming event.
She left Facebook concerned with copies of thousands of pages of research.
What we're looking at are documents and data that have come to us from a Facebook whistleblower who has had it with what they are doing. Facebook is chasing the dollar. They know that this is harmful to teens, but they continue to do it.
The Facebook whistleblower, only on 60 Minutes Sunday.
Where did you get the end of world guy?
That's the real 60-minute ad.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's a 60-minute ad. So that's the ad that it was on there.
That's like that, in a world where, you know.
Oh, no, it's a 60-minute deal. So let's talk a little bit about what's going to be on tomorrow at 60 Minutes. A Facebook whistleblower who provides tens of thousands of internal documents to federal regulators that reportedly shows the company has lied about its ability to combat hate, violence, and misinformation on its platform to set a reveal of her identity in a national broadcast interview Sunday on CBS. The same ex-Facebook employee plans to testify Tuesday before Congress about the company turning a blind eye to harmful caused by its products, including the impacts on teens and mental health. As the public anticipates hearing directly from the whistleblower, who is believed to have provided the Wall Street Journal with the same documents as part of the Facebook Files series, a question is stirring. Will Facebook retaliate? The prospect will be put into sharp focus this week. Facebook executive Antonio Davis, Antigone Davis, the director of global head of safety at Facebook, was asked in a Senate hearing about the company, saying that they will not retaliate against the whistleblower for addressing Congress, but they are certainly leaving themselves open to going after this person for exposing confidential information to the news media.
Yeah, so they're going to go after. That's what they're going to do. They're going to take her to civil.
They're going to take her to civil court and sue her for gazillions and gazillions of dollars. But now this whistleblower has been in place for about 3 weeks now. So this person, I would expect, has already done her due diligence and probably already has people that have signed up where if I release this information and a lawsuit comes in the public sector that other individuals will pick up the fines or pay the fines. It could be even 60 minutes for all we know for this interview whistleblowing, saying whatever happens in the civil court will take over and pay that penalty for that.
Sure.
Well, that's I think she's got.
I'm going to assume that there's some little contracts going on behind the scenes.
There has to be, right?
But
so they're saying this may be bigger than Snowden's government leaks of all of the information. They're actually thinking this may be the biggest leak of a private company ever regarding ethics and ethical battles, specifically targeting
Facebook.
I know. That's going to be very exciting. All right, Mike. Well, our time is up. We did get through our top stories a little longer than we should have, as David was throwing a bunch of fingers at us. So please visit us online to learn more about this at techtimeradio.com and click on the episode section or the blogs to get more details regarding these stories. Up next, we have Technology Insider segment where we're going to be talking about voice over IP. That's called VoIP, the way cloud-based phones work in most businesses today, as there was a major hack that happened this week. Then we're going to be talking about HDMI, USB devices, and other devices. And we even have somebody that was on our show created a public statement regarding their phone services that were essentially down during this hack that happened. So I can't wait to hear from Lon Baker's email that was sent out from Virtual PBX, one of our sponsors that we had on here. And we're going to be talking about that.
That's your phone service.
That's right. We're going to be talking about that right after this commercial break. We'll see you then. Hi, I'm Nathan Mumm, host of TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm on KKNW. TechTime Radio's live show is Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m., and you can always check us on the web at techtimeradio.com. Our segmented stylized radio gives you the breaking news before it hits mainstream media. Join myself and Mike Gorday as we'll make you laugh.
That's good. So, Hooked on Phonics worked for you, didn't it?
It did, just a little bit. And learning something new in technology. Join us Saturdays, 4 to 6 p.m., and Thursdays from 6 to 7 a.m. The technology show for the everyday common person.
Hi, this is Lisa Downs, host of Reigniting You, the show that takes a positive, forward-looking approach to mid to late career transitions for Gen Xers and Boomers every Wednesday afternoon at 3 o'clock Pacific. Whether you're looking to stay in the traditional workforce, do your own thing, or retire or semi-retire, Reigniting You is your source for career transition advice, inspiration, and insight for what's next in your career and life. Join me Wednesdays at 3 o'clock to get re-energized, recharged, and reignited.
Welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. We just had our first whiskey tasting. Mike, during the break, what do you think of our whiskey?
Not really impressed.
Not really. Well, it is the legendary Duke Bourbon Review. It is supposedly the same. You see John Wayne's signature on there. This is the John Wayne whiskey that he would drink supposedly on shows and supposedly. So I don't know if it is exactly the same. Did I say supposedly?
Supposedly.
Hooked
on Phonics worked for you, didn't it?
There you go. So it's $39, 88 proof. It is a mash bill, 75% corn, 13% rye, and 12% barley. See, look at that. Since we had Mark on here and he had all these different information, now I'm doing a little bit more research on the whiskey instead of where it's just from. It has a cork on the top, so that's always
you always like the cork, and this one has a.
It says Duke on it even.
It has a burn
inscription on there.
The Duke.
And it's a vanilla flavor, candied fruit, and a little bit of toffee and brown sugar with a long finish and a hint of cloves and cinnamon. Don't know if I'm tasting any of that stuff.
I just tasted alcohol.
All right, well, we'll see how it goes. Okay. Woo.
It's a good upfront taste and then a long alcohol taste.
It's
a long alcohol finish.
Is it as bad as Canadians Mist?
No, nothing is as bad as Canadian Mist.
That's right. All right. Well, now that we got our drinks out of the way, we have our segments to explore technology with an insider view. Let's get ready to start our next segment.
Welcome to Technology Insider. We get the information directly from the source.
All right. Was your work phone silent this week? It might have been. People were trying to call you, but your incoming voice phone service was being hacked, and essentially your phone service coming in was down.
But that's only if you use a cloud-based phone service.
It's only if you use a cloud-based phone service. That's right. If you have an on-prem solution, on-premise is what that means, an on-prem solution, and you have it routing through SIP pipes, which again are the telephone pipes that sends digital technology over the wire. Essentially, you would have been safe and you would have no problems at all. You would have never experienced anything because the internet was up and working. But let's take a look at what happened to one of the largest providers, Bandwidth.com. You know, we talked about those incoming providers.
Yeah.
Bandwidth.com is one of those. So as they're trying, maybe they were getting hacked for all the telemarketing calls that came in.
Yeah, maybe.
Bandwidth.com has become the latest victim of a distributed denial of service attack targeting voice over IP providers. Again, a distributed denial of service attack is when you have a bunch of traffic coming on in to the main ports that is taking the server down or the ports down or the ability for you to transmit back and forth.
Over informing it, right?
Correct. That is exactly correct.
A DDoS attack.
So Bandwidth is a voice over protocol service that combines Bandwidth.com as a voice over protocol service that provides telephony over the internet for businesses and resellers. Starting September 25th at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Bandwidth began reporting that it was experiencing unexpected failures with their voice and messaging service. Since then, Bandwidth has been providing frequent status updates detailing the outage affecting voice, enhanced 911 services, which were down, messaging, and access to portals. As Bandwidth is one of the leading telephone providers for telephony in the U.S. over IP companies, many other voice over IP vendors reported outages over the past few days, including Twilio, Accent, Dialpad, Phone.com, RingCentral, and Virtual PBX.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, it's not been 100% confirmed if all of these outages are related to bandwidth service disruption. One outage report directly mentions bandwidth in its context of a voice over IP provider. In contrast, other states and other companies that have upstream providers did not involve saying it was bandwidth, but called it an upstream provider was having problems, which we figure is the code word for bandwidth.com not working. Earlier this month, voice over IP providers suffered a catastrophic attack also, and essentially the voice over IP.ms attack was a distortion that was composed to be a threat actor by the ransom group Revil, that was initially demanding 1 Bitcoin to halt their attacks against the items. Now, the Revil has not confirmed this in the dark web Revil information. If you're a dark web individual, and maybe I am,
like you are,
yeah, we do not believe that it was actually Revil that did this. We think it was somebody else, and they're trying to use Revil's name is because Revil has a very popular name. I don't think it was Revil at all.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
We have a comment that came in about this. Brandon says it was insane.
Yes, so it was. You know, there was tons of outages that happened. Thank you, David. We have an email to share with you from Lon Baker of Virtual PBX. This is essentially an email. We had Lon on the show, right? So we like Virtual PBX. They're a great provider. Now, I got frustrated. Let me just tell you, I got frustrated this week because our main TechTime Radio phone number was down. Essentially, my consulting service, EE Services, was down also. So I was a little frustrated, and we use Virtual PBX to do all of our routing for that. Now, RingCentral, other companies also had the same problem, so it isn't necessarily Virtual PBX, but this is at least what Virtual PBX did. Lon got on and sent an email out to all the subscribers. It says, today, Virtual PBX, along with significant number of other voice over IP providers in the U.S., are experiencing a carrier outage caused by a distributed denial of service attack occurring on bandwidth.com. This type of attack has been spreading across the voice over IP industry over the past weeks and has been impacting SIP trunks and hosted voice over IP providers. Please keep in mind, in the U.S. and Canada, phone numbers are owned by underlying carriers, making this type of an attack on bandwidth.com essentially disruptive to all businesses. We recently partnered with the industry-leading denial of service security company Cloudflare to successfully mitigate threats to our service. We are also implementing improvements to better address the evolving business challenges we all face today and to allow us to respond even more quickly. Please note, like you, we are equally frustrated with this attack on telecom infrastructure. We will continue to update our status on our site and situation as the situation develops. So, was TechTime Radio's phone down this week? Yes, they were. Was this frustrating? Absolutely. Does this make me want to go to an on-premise solution instead of a cloud solution? Yes. But I'm waiting for the company to respond to my frustration from Virtual PBX before I make any decision. And I talked with Virtual PBX account manager, and essentially they included adding an email to Lon. So Lon actually responded to me directly and said, yeah, there was some frustration. I told him that I was going to go on and talk about this type of bit. Again, I'm not trying to signal out Virtual PBX. Virtual PBX is the company that I use, so I specifically know of the situation. But it was very frustrating to have voice over IP services on this higher
that just goes
carrier.
Into the continuing topic of how we are dependent on certain technologies that other people are able to take over and essentially destroy.
Correct. So my question is, do I go back to an on-prem solution, or do I continue to do a cloud-based solution?
Get a landline, baby. Get a landline.
So I mean, I will have to say I apologize to Virtual PBX for at least some of my language in my emails. I was a little bit upset.
Were you upset?
I was upset because this is our main primary line into the radio station.
But they have no control over that.
Well, I know. So what happens is if I trust my voice over IP service to them, so I'm trusting my phone service to work. At least I'm okay with 99% of the time. If it's down a couple times, I get it. But if it's down for 6 days, and then who do I have to argue? The only person I have to yell at and scream at is probably Virtual PBX or Ring Central or whoever anybody's using.
Messenger.
And they're going to say, yeah, sorry, the uphill. And then I'm like, I don't really care that the uphill person is. Freaking get a better uphill person because I want the phone service to work.
Yeah.
So
I
was kind of a jerk. So if anybody from Virtual PBX is listening, I'm sorry, but it really was pissing me off. So, all right, here we go. Here we go. Well, that is the cloud-based phone outage that you're going to hear about in the coming weeks. But it's not in mainstream media yet. So they kept it all out, and so people are saying they kept it all out because they didn't want to give the bad actors what was going on. So there was, again, I have...
Is this you?
No, this is me, Nathan, going to the dark web and knowing information because I have my own Tor account. I got my own browser. I've shown you that. I've shown a bunch of different stuff. It was a ransomware that it looks like was not paid. So instead of getting the service back up, they were very vocal to not pay that service and try to fix it themselves, which is probably why it took 6 days to take care of it instead of a day and just pay the ransomware and go from there.
I once worked for a pager store way back in the day.
Yeah.
Back in the early 90s.
Yeah, does anybody listening here know what pagers are?
What is a pager? Yeah. And the guy's computer system went down for a week, and we lost 50% of our subscribers. 50%.
50% because they couldn't have the paging system work?
Because they couldn't get their pages.
Yeah.
And they were like you.
Yeah.
You know, they were like upset. And, of course, that was his fault because he didn't have anybody that could fix the computer, didn't have a backup for the computer. This is back in the day when he thought he was Mr. Computer.
Okay.
And, the store closed down about 3 months later.
You know, it's always good to have backups of your computer stuff. You know, when my Surface died, what is it, a couple months ago? I had backups, so we got everything back up and going, right? So it had it on the cloud. But I will tell you this. If you're working on your script for the radio show, and let's say you have a power outage and you didn't save your document, do you know what happens the following day when
you got to redo it?
That's right. So
you didn't have your auto
redo it a couple hours before the show actually starts.
That's right.
Yeah.
So today's notes were redone. So I will tell you, I have got plenty of time in this today for the show, which I'm really excited about because I just rewrote everything again twice, so I know exactly what we got going on.
Okay,
all right,
that's awesome.
All right, so make sure you have your Word document. There's an autosave feature on Microsoft Word. If you just put that on instead of being a bonehead and not having that on, make sure that
I don't even know how you're not even doing that.
Well, so here's what happens. I open up old versions.
I learned to do that a long time ago.
Okay, so I do have the autosave feature on for almost every document that I have on there, except for the TechTime stuff. Because what happens is I'll go on to this episode, and I may go back to 2 or 3 episodes and cut and paste some stuff in for Phill and cut and paste some stuff in for some of the guests that we have. And so if I have an autosave feature and I'm working in there and I'm cutting and pasting, then the old versions of those things get altered. Right? So specifically not anymore because now I just couldn't turn it back on to autosave. So specifically for the TechTime Radio documents, I was not autosaving it so I could make sure I had the whole hysterical stuff. But now it's autosaving. I'm saying forget that because I'm not going to redo 4 hours before the show.
Don't do what Nathan does.
All right. Well, we're going to take a commercial break. And when we come on back, we're going to talk to you guys and I'm going to quiz everybody in here about USB devices. We're going to talk about PCs. We're going to talk about TVs. We're going to be talking about why is it that you have a USB drive that you plug in that's supposed to be super ultra fast. You plug it into your computer and it's supposed to do 10 megabits per second, and you look at it and it's like 1 megabit and it takes forever. Or why is it that you got a brand new 4K TV and you say it looks just the same as my previous one did? We got the answers and we got the solutions to make sure when you're buying new gear and new technology, you're using the right items with the right cables. There you go. We're going to see you right after this commercial break.
Did you know that up to 12 to 15% of Americans grind their teeth at night while they sleep? Yeah, it's called Bruxism. I used to work at a sleep lab, and we used to measure that, and it leads to a lot of problems like headaches and destroys your teeth. It wears down the enamel, and it's just very hard on your mouth.
So every once in a while I'll wake up, my jaw will hurt. Do you think that I'm grinding my teeth at night?
Yep.
Well, so how do you go about protecting this then?
The number one recommended way of protecting yourself from teeth grinding is what's called a night guard, which is a custom fitted prosthetic that you put inside your mouth. It usually runs, hundreds of dollars, but I know our sponsor, Smile Brilliant, can get you custom fitted night guards for as little as $45 a piece.
So if you go to smilebrilliant.com and use TechTime Radio at checkout, you can receive 20% off your complete order. So visit smilebrilliant.com and use the TechTime Radio at checkout code.
All right. Welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan and Mumm. Mike, how's the whiskey tasting during this break?
Still not very impressed.
You know what? It's not like the worst whiskey, right? So, I mean, we've had way, way worse.
No.
But we've had some really good whiskey in the last couple of weeks. And so, you know what? Maybe if I threw this in right after we just did a Canadian Mist, maybe it would get like 2 thumbs up. But
are you saying we should start our palate off every
show with the Canadian Mist?
A swig of Canadian Mist, and we'll be like, oh, this is the best stuff ever.
No, but I do think we may be a little bit biased. I don't think it's bad. I don't know if I'm gonna.
It's not bad.
So I'm gonna struggle if we give it 2 thumbs down. So that
why?
Because I don't think it'd be that. Because 2 thumbs down normally is really pretty bad. So we're gonna
no. I mean, Canadian Mist was like 4 thumbs down. So
that's correct. So we get this 2 thumbs down, but I think there's been some split ones that I think this may be a little bit better with. So now,
you can't. You're talking about adjusting the
rating scales.
Rating
We probably
scale
shouldn't do that,
based on how you think it should be, not how it tastes.
Okay. Well, let's start our next segment.
Yeah,
so we're going to
let's do
continue
that.
on with what we had here for Technology Insider. Let's talk about USB devices. So here's the biggest problem with people get new TVs, when people get new monitors for their computers, and people get these portable hard drives.
Mm-hmm.
There are different versions of USB devices. There's different versions of DisplayPort and HDMI devices. And you know what? Not the consumers are not as smart as you may think, because what they'll do is they'll purchase something new and they'll use their existing cables that came with the other unit because they're already there and they don't have to get new items. So let me ask you a question right now. Here we go. Question number, if you look at a computer.
Dartmouth.
No, that's not the answer.
Oh, damn.
So if you, there is USB version 1, there's USB version 2, there's USB version 3. This is the USB standard port. If I look at my computer and my USB port is black, what does that tell me what version that is? Do you know?
What are you talking about?
So like
everything on my computer is black.
No,
anyway.
If you look at the USB port,
are you talking about
your USB port right there? If you unplug that, what
are
color
you
is
talking
that?
About inside?
Yeah, what color is that? What color is that?
Looks like it's black.
It is black. All right, so we're gonna talk. So, do you think that's USB 1, USB 2, or USB 3?
USB 3.
Incorrect. It's USB 2.
What?
Black devices are USB 2, which does not give you the highest speed. USB 2 is a high-speed device, which only gives you the maximum output at 400 megabits per second, which is theoretically speed at 60 megabits per second.
Are you saying that my brand new...
Well, okay, so let's ask the next question. If you have a USB port and it has a white color on the USB port, what does that determine it is? A USB 1, which means it only gets 1.5 megabits per second. If it has a blue color...
Is that the 3?
That's a USB 3 port. That is correct. All right, and it goes all the way up. If you have they have new colors. They have a green port. That's USB 3.1. And if it's a orange or red port. That's a USB 3.1 that is allowed to have power voltage to charge additional devices at a high speed. So if I have an orange or a red port, I plug in my phone, I can charge it in the matter of seconds instead of the hours it takes to plug it. You probably didn't know that, did you?
No.
Okay, so this is for the everyday common person.
The everyday person probably doesn't know this either.
So now let me ask you, if you have a cable that plugs into your device, you have a black cable that's plugged into that, which is fine.
Yep.
So if you have a black cable on a device, that means most likely it's probably a USB 2. It could be a USB 3 that isn't labeled correctly, but it's probably not a USB 1. So the cables you plug in...
That doesn't make sense because Apple's always white.
Well, okay, so Apple's the difference.
Okay.
Apple is always white. But Apple's devices have always been USB 2 for the very, very old machines. And within the last 8 years, it's been USB 3, even though it's a white port.
Okay.
Okay, but this is the PC aspect we're talking about. So very important. The biggest thing is when you get a hard drive, if you get a USB 3 hard drive and you only have a USB 2 port you plug it into, guess what the maximum transfer rate it can be?
The USB 2.
That's correct. If you have a USB 1 cable, which there's a lot of, and you can find them on Amazon for dirt cheap, which over 80% of people buy USB 1 and USB 2 cables because they're cheap and they don't understand that they need a USB 3 cable. Essentially, your maximum speed you're going to be able to do is 1.5 megabits because of that black cable that you have is only USB 1.
This really grinds my gears.
It grinds your gears. We'll wait till we talk about what goes next. Now we're going to talk about USB-C.
Oh, no.
The new device that, of course, the European Union is saying that everybody has to move to, right? USB-C has a USB-C 2, a USB 3, a USB 3.1, and then they have a 3 passive and a 3 Thunderbolt active. So if you have a USB-C, most people think that they can immediately get 4K support.
You're going to tell me no, aren't
That's
you?
correct. Unless you have the Thunderbolt 3, which is passive, or the Thunderbolt 3 active, specifically, and that cable. So if I have a USB 3.1 Gen 1 cable, and I plug it into a USB Thunderbolt port, I'm not going to be able to get the full utilized speeds.
So what you're saying is that we just need to throw everything away and go back to Abacus.
Well, what I'm saying is when you buy something new, now we're going to move right into televisions.
Okay.
All right, when you buy something new,
use the cable that come with it?
Well, you should use the cable that comes with it, ideally, because that probably is the correct cable. But it may not necessarily always be that either. So you need to make sure that you understand what version of USB you're buying, and you need to make sure that you go and buy that exact USB model version number on Amazon so that you get the full speed that's available there. Don't pay the $4 and $6 for the cables. You're going to have to pay the $7, $14, $18 to get the availability.
This is like gaming systems when they stopped putting in two controllers.
Yeah.
You have to buy a second controller. Remember that?
Yeah.
You used to have two controllers, and it was in a game, and you could instantly start playing with your buddy.
And then you had to have the Y device that would work with some of the single port controllers if they were designed for that. Or you were a hose back in the day when the joystick port and you'd only have one.
Yeah.
You'd have to buy an additional sound card and then disable that sound card so it doesn't take up the IRQs.
What systems were you using?
I used a bunch of old 386, 486s, and I had to have like two sound cards in there, one
I'm
disabled.
talking about Nintendo.
Oh, you're talking about Nintendo.
I'm talking about
okay. Oh, you're talking about Nintendo
versus Xbox. You remember when Xbox came out?
Yeah.
And you only had one controller.
You had two controllers.
Well, the newer Xboxes.
You get one. You get one controller, and then they make you.
Controller.
They want you to buy another one.
That's right. This is the same damn thing.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Next thing we're going to go.
Off right
all right. Yeah, well, wait till you talk about television stuff. Here we go.
I don't want to talk about television. I want to drink whiskey.
All right, here we go. So let me ask you, is a display port, when you get your monitor for your computer, it comes with a display port normally. It's a proprietary cable with a little niche. Looks kind of like an HDMI cable, but it's a little bit of a different cable. It always comes in the box. Do you hook up your brand new monitor to a display port card and plug it into your monitor, or do you go grab your HDMI cable?
I'm just gonna say that I go with my HDMI cable because that's part of the gag.
Okay, well, so the display port video graphics are much more condensed. They're much better at this time. They allow you to even get up to the ultra high resolution at 8K at 60 hertz, whereas the HDMI cable does not have that ability. Now, the DisplayPort does not have the ability to translate audio onto the device itself, but specifically with a computer, normally you have different speakers for
So
your
I
computer.
can have really good color but really bad audio.
So, well, then
Is that
you're going to
what
have
you're
to get you an additional audio device to plug it into. If you want the combined audio and video, then an HDMI cable works
This
for
is
you.
just way too complicated.
But let me ask you, did you buy a brand new 4K TV just recently?
Sure.
Okay. Say yes. Well, all right. So let me talk to you. There's two different standards. There's an HDMI.
Yes.
Okay. There's an HDMI 2.1, which is the most recent standard. It's actually been out for about 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And it allows you to display up to 8K at 60 hertz. HDMI 2.1 also offers 10K at 120 hertz using DSC, which you don't have to worry about. But do you know that most people only have an HDMI 2.0 cable? 80% of the HDMI cables in production and that are purchased off of Amazon are HDMI 2.0 compliant, which means that you do not get your full 4K resolution because you do not have the right cable.
Yeah, I believe that.
So you're only getting 2K.
And I'll tell you why
Why is that?
later.
Okay. So you need to make sure that when you buy a brand new television, if you are going to purchase one and it says it's the HDMI 2.1 standard, you need to have a 2.1 cable. And if you don't, you should throw out your existing cables and move on because they're not good to keep old cables. With new technology, you defeat the purpose of the new technology. Don't be lazy. Throw out the cable with the television and get new cabling and get the new television so you can get the full high resolution.
That's like all the little accessories that you buy for your car.
Yeah?
I can get the base model, but I have to buy all this other stuff for it.
Well, I don't really buy base models. I always try to buy the real cheap car with the souped up stuff.
You try to buy the highest trim models
of the cheap cars.
A used car.
Yeah, the Ford, my beautiful Ford Focus. It's like the super sport Ford Focus because I didn't want to buy the cheap Ford Focus. I got the high end one. All right, we're gonna go to commercial break.
Wow.
When we come on back, we got Mike's mesmerizing moment brought to us by Story Coffee and our pick of the day.
Hey, Mike,
What?
have you heard of elderberry?
Only in reference to a Monty Python movie.
Well, let me tell you, Elderberry Boost. Again, that's elderberry-boost.com.
Elderberry Boost.
Yes, Mike, that's Elderberry Boost. You can choose organic Elderberry Boost, that 8-ounce size. That's available on sale right now at $11.99. But you're listening here right now on TechTime Radio, so you need to go to Elderberry. That's ELDERBERRY-boost.com and get some today.
Elderberry Boost.
Elderberry is an all-natural organic immune system booster and antiviral. Elderberry is known to actively fight against viruses, including colds and the flu. It also works as a natural remedy for allergies, cancer, digestion, heart disease, high cholesterol, headache, toothache, weight loss, and reduced inflammation.
It's a natural and healthy diuretic and has many antiviral properties. While it is famous for fighting the flu, it is effective for any illness.
Elderberry Boost was created to provide a quality organic elderberry to their customers. After searching years ago for a perfect elderberry syrup, none could be found, so they essentially created their own homemade recipe.
If you would like to get 15% off your first order of Elderberry Boost, just put in the discount code TechTime at checkout.
Again, that's elderberry-boost.com.
Elderberry Boost.
This is Mike's mesmerizing moment, presented by Story Coffee. Visit storycoffee.com.
So here it is, right?
Yep.
We talked about this, all these cables and stuff.
Yep.
And we talked about how I take my new TV out of the box, I put it in, and I just grab the cable that's already sitting there and plug it in, and everything's supposed to work fine.
Yep.
That's the problem with human nature and technology. There's too much stuff. There's too much stuff here for the common person to pay attention to, and we don't like paying attention to a lot of things at one time.
Okay.
So when you're talking about all these USB ports, probably I would say up to 80% of the population probably glazes over.
I have no clue, right?
White,
White,
don't want
blue,
it.
black. What does that mean, right? Yeah.
Right, white, blue, black. It's just like a color choice. Oh, look. And then we said that almost all, what was the percentage of cables that are sold?
80% are the HDMI 2.0 version and not the HDMI 2.1 or higher.
Right. So people are going to be looking for a cable. They're not going to understand these stupid differences because it doesn't enter into our normal realm of, you have to have a level of techno nerdery
Okay.
to be involved in a lot of this stuff. So we're going to see the least expensive cable that says HDMI on it.
Yep, on
And
Amazon.
we're going to buy that.
For $4.
And Amazon, it doesn't give a crap whether or not we get the right cable for our needs.
Correct.
They're just producing the cables that people, this is the basic marketing system. So marketing is how to get the simplest thing into the hands the simplest way. Right?
You know what? So that's why hopefully people are listening to our show.
Sure.
And they're going to hear that HDMI, when you buy
They're
an
probably going to
HDMI
be a little ticked off like me because I'm like tired. I don't want to learn about all this stuff. I remember when I went to go get my Surface, right?
Yep.
I was asking all kinds of technical questions.
Yep.
And I remember talking about the USB ports and asking about the difference of the USB ports.
Okay.
And the funny thing is that I thought this whole time this was a USB 3. And now you're telling me it's a USB 2 because of the color coding inside. That bites.
Well, but you know what? You probably, with the right cables, you're probably not going to notice any difference.
It
of
doesn't,
what
yeah,
of
it
what you
doesn't
need to
matter
transfer. As
anyway.
long as you're using newer cables, then you should be fine. But if you buy a USB 3 device,
But
you're
here-
going to plug into
Yeah,
something.
but here's
then-
my human behavior stuff once again.
Okay.
When I plug stuff into my computer, I don't pull out a stopwatch and start timing stuff. I just let it do what it does. I've gotten to the point where, when I'm downloading a game update
Yeah.
onto my Alienware,
Yeah.
I know it's going to take like 45 minutes. So
You just do something
I
else.
just do something else, and this is what I do when I'm doing anything else. So if I look at that, I'm like, wow, that's going to take a long time. I'm like, F this stuff.
Well, now guess what? We are hopefully here for the common person. If you go and buy a device like a new television for this upcoming Christmas season and it says it's HDMI 2.1 or better, you want to make sure that you buy at the store an HDMI 2.1 cable so you don't plug it into your existing cable. Don't just go to the person and say, yeah, we'll just take whatever cable comes with it. Or the cable that comes with the product, use it.
Yep.
Because that cable, I see a lot of times people get a brand new product, throw that cable into
We're
the
gonna
junk bin and
most
use their
peop-
existing areas. No,
Most
use the
people,
cable that you get.
Most people are going to go to the simplest answer, and that's, well, I already have this cable hooked up. I'm just going to plug it in.
Well, it's got to be correct cable to
But-
correct port.
Yet those type of people probably aren't going to notice that there's not a huge difference
In the HDMI.
in the HDMI
Yeah, there's a big difference.
screen.
There's
So-
a big difference. On my Xbox Series S that I have up on my deal, I have all the high-end cables. Everything's gold-plated. Everything's high-end, so that I
Yeah,
can make
see.
sure I get my great
You're,
graphics.
yeah, but you're like Captain Nerd.
That's right. Okay. Well, hopefully people learn that. Right now, let's go to our pick of the day.
And now our pick of the day for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubbles to the top.
All right, we have the legendary Duke Bourbon, $39 a bottle, 88 proof. At least if you probably bought that at Wines & More or one of these places, you're probably not going to go through the checkout where they ask you if you really want to buy it, so they'll probably still buy it to you. It's a deep red, medium-bodied, leathery taste. That may be true.
Leathery.
There's
that is leathery.
the labeling includes the word Duke in the cork, which is a perfect, nice touch. It's right up front with you with a vanilla and a candied fruit taste. After the fact, when you pick up, you can taste the toffee and brown sugar, along with the finish of hint of cloves and cinnamon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I taste any of that, but they did a great job marketing it on their website about what
sure
this
they
is.
did.
Okay,
No disrespect to the Duke, but I'm thumb downing this one.
you did thumb downing that one.
Yeah, I didn't. It's okay, but it's just okay.
So I'm struggling as we talk about. I'm
Just give
struggling.
it a thumbs down, man. You know you're going to give it because I saw your face.
So if I give it a thumbs down, I don't think it's as bad as ones we've given 2 thumbs down
Yeah,
for.
you
And
gotta
you
do
know
it,
what?
man.
And then there's
I watched you taste it.
The last taste, that was really. If you notice, I even have a little bit more.
Yeah, I know you didn't even finish.
I'm going to have to
I'm
get
better
that
off than you.
before the second hour.
Just do it, dude. Just do it.
It's going to be a
Just
thumbs
do
down
it.
too.
There you go.
All
Good
right,
man.
so we got 2 thumbs down there. That is the
Can't
legendary.
be skewing the results just because you think it's the wrong thing to do.
Well, you know what? It was an interesting deal. Well, let's talk about what we have coming on the second hour. We have our steals and deals segment, and I have a steal of the week. So if you're catching our show with the
It's
one
a USB cord.
well, it's a USB cord, so you can plug in the correct. It's a USB 3 cord.
There you go.
All right, so no, it's going to be something completely different. But if you're catching our first hour and you're not catching the second hour, now's the time to go to TechTimeRadio.com. Watch the second hour with Mike and I. You can always take a look at it at KKNW 1150 AM. All you got to do is Google Tech Time Radio, and you're going to find the video that we have. We also have on there, we have Ask the Experts, and we're going to be bringing Phill Hennessy in. We're going to be talking about robotics and technology, specifically robotics taking over the kitchens of sit-down and fast food restaurants.
Ask him about Astro.
We're going to talk a little bit. Actually, we talked a little bit about that last night, as a matter of fact. Yep. Then we have things you don't know with the future of EA's new COO, Lori Miele.
Hurry up.
Welcome to 2 hours of Tech Time Radio. We're excited to see you on the next hour. I'm Nathan Mumm.
Bye-bye.
And Mike Gorday.
Thanks for joining us on Tech Time Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at Tech Time Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host,
Hey, Mike.
What?
Have you heard of the Homebrew podcast?
I totally have. Get it, nerds. We're hunting space dinosaurs.
The Homebrew podcast is the best adventure. It's published weekly and is everywhere podcasts can be found.
They're veteran Dungeons and Dragons player who love phenomenal stories, endearing characters, and a good adventure. They're currently engaged in a reimagined 5th edition sci-fi campaign called Absurdism and a Millennium Abroad. Whether you're new to D&D, a seasoned DM, somewhere in between, or just enjoy a good story, you've come to the right place. Join them while they explore the universe and push the boundaries.
So explain to me, Mike, what does the 5th edition mean?
They're using the 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons rule set put out by Wizards of the Coast.
Catch it online today at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts. You can find them at facebook.com/homebrew podcast, or you can check them out at twitter.com/the homebrew DND, or again, anywhere you get your podcast feeds.
Why don't you just go to https://thehomebrewpodcast.com?
Well, that would be a good idea, Mike. You can find them there also. Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, are you bored of TV? Like drugs but can't afford them? Or still paying alimony?
Maybe.
All right, read How to See a Man About a Dog, collected writing. It's surreal. It's strange. It's How to See a Man About a Dog. Get your dose of surreal prose and poetry with the Stark Comedy Collection.
Ebook available on Kindle Unlimited. Print copies are available on Amazon, the Book Depository, and more.
That's right. I'm going to go get my ebook on Kindle Unlimited today.
How to See a Man About a Dog. It combines darkly comic short stories, powerful poems, and pulp fiction prose to create a heartbreaking and hilarious journey readers will not soon forget. Read How to See a Man About a Dog, collected writings, for free with Kindle Unlimited. Ebook available on Kindle, print copies available on Amazon, the Book Depository, and more.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's happening?
Hey, have you ever heard of Rico and the Man?
No, but I've heard of Chico and the Man, but I'm an old guy.
Rico and the Man is a laugh-out-loud look at Hollywood's past, present, and troubling future.
These days, everyone and their cat has a podcast about the entertainment industry. But few shows have as much fun doing it as Rico and the Man with Rob Traegler and Peter Martino.
Well, look at Podcast Boy. Looks like he got a new toy.
Yes, New Jersey meets California in this bi-coastal, hilarious show where two old college buddies take shots at all things entertainment. With special guests, trivia, listener feedback, and comedy bits.
Scarlet, which is a Scarlet?
Okay,
let's take the subject now.
Rob and Peter invite you to laugh along. Rico and the Man. Available on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and more.
Oh, this is great, Nathan.
Again, that's Rico and the Man. We would like to thank Podcorn for sponsoring this episode of TechTime Radio. Explore sponsorship opportunities and start monetizing your podcast by signing up at podcorn.com/podcasters. Let me tell you about Podcorn. Podcorn is an absolute must for any podcaster starting out. Now, when we started out TechTime Radio, we started out in a back office with a couple of mics. We expanded to a studio, and then now, as you can see, we're on the radio and have distribution into other markets. Having the ability to have Podcorn at the start of our podcast would have been a dream come true. Guess what? With Podcorn, you now have the amazing opportunity for podcasts to receive sponsorship, such as host reads, interview segments, and topical discussions. With Podcorn, there's no middleman. Podcasters of all sizes can browse and choose opportunities right on their platform, set their own rates, and collaborate with brands directly without exclusivities. You never give up the rights of your podcast in Podcorn, and they're here to support you everywhere possible. Visit podcorn.com. Again, that's podcorn.com. Podcorn is a true success for those starting their podcast dreams.
Coming to you from the shores of the Pacific Northwest. Keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side. With leading edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
I'm excited. I'm really excited. I'm so excited.
That's right. Wow,
Yeah,
Mike.
yeah.
We're just starting out. You're
Oh,
already
awesome.
excited.
Yeah.
You're awesome. All right.
So you can take all those takes and, from
And
that
re-put 'em
commercial
together.
recording. And
That's right.
I'm excited.
I'm excited. All
not-
right, welcome
I'm
to
not
Tech
really
Time
that
Radio with
excited.
Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, Technology news of the week, the show for the everyday common person with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. That's right. I'm Nathan. Welcome to our show as we live stream on the studio today at KKNW 1150. This is the second hour. If you missed the first hour and you're only catching the second hour, you need to go back. The first hour is phenomenal. It will save you time and effort on a brand new purchase of a TV and a USB drive.
It'll tick you off about all the cords and USB
The cables that you
ports
never
available.
replace, and then all of a sudden your TV's
That's
not
right.
getting what it should. That's right. You can always visit us at techtimeradio.com. If you're catching us during Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m., you get the live show. Otherwise, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, not Saturday, not 4 to 6 p.m. And Sunday. Oh, I slipped it up there a little bit.
You slipped up.
Then you're catching a rebroadcast, or as they call it in the industry, an encore episode. And if you're catching that, then you want to go to techtimeradio.com to get all the latest information. Well, that whiskey's going through me a little bit. The Duke. It wasn't that great.
Duke.
It wasn't that great, but I got a little bit of the side.
No, it was okay. It just
okay.
wasn't better than okay. And thinking
I wouldn't pay
thinking that-
$39 for it. Would I get a
thinking that
screwball?
thinking that John Wayne actually required this to be in his contract when he was in his dressing room.
Yeah.
I'm like, he must have really liked this stuff.
He must-
Sorry, I don't like it that much.
That's right. All right. Well, it is now time for our 2-hour technology show to get kicked off.
Now on today's show.
On today's show, we have our Steals and Deals segment, which includes the best deals of the week on technology items. We want to make sure you get this before the haunts and the spooky ghouls grab these specials today.
Really?
Yeah.
That's your October.
That's my October.
thing.
We're in October, right? Isn't that spooky?
Yeah. Well, Halloween is one of my favorite holidays.
It is.
Even though it's not a holiday.
You know what? I can't wait to dress up in studio for that on the 30th episode. It's going to be fantastic.
You can't wait.
So we're going to be excited about that.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what you're going to become dressed as.
I'm going to be dressed like this.
No, you're not. I'm going to bring something for you to dress into.
Just bring me a
Well,
sorting
mine'll
hat.
be easy. You could probably guess what I'll dress
You're going to be
up as.
dressing in umpire
An
gear, aren't you,
umpire
David?
outfit.
Maybe.
That's right. He'll be coming from a game and he'll just come right in. All right. Thank you for joining us on the show. We also are going to have our Ask the Experts, where we bring back one of our favorite guests. Phill Hennessy is going to be joining us with robotics and technology expert to talk about robots taking over the kitchen of sit-down and fast food restaurants. Very interesting.
It's already happening.
It is very interesting.
McDonald's.
I know they're on the list. Hey, don't spoil everything here now. We got
of McDonald's.
We got McDonald's. Soon you're going to go to McDonald's and you're never going to have to talk to anybody. But is that
For an
really
in-
what the
you
real
know, for-
McDonald guy when he
For an
created his
introvert,
deal?
actually, because Croc's vision was not hamburgers. It was
the efficiency of delivery
efficiency of
service.
delivery.
Correct. And the same constant delivery place after place after place.
Right.
That was what he specifically
And
wanted
I
to do.
appreciate that.
As an
even
introvert?
As well, let's just assume for a moment that I because I don't eat at McDonald's.
Okay.
But I appreciate the fact that they have everything so well grafted that if I pull into McDonald's, I know I'm going to get through the line, I'm going to get my food, and I'm going to get out.
Okay.
Right? Other places where you go and it's like, oh, we lost your order, or we just don't have time to do this stuff.
I'm not a McDonald's hater.
As an introvert,
Yeah.
going and talking to people is not my favorite thing in the world.
So you'd rather talk to a computer AI.
So having something that creates my food for me, that's an awesome
Okay, well,
idea.
you're going to enjoy this segment then.
But
yeah,
the fact that we are automating the food industry really bothers the crap.
Well, you know what? Phil and I talked. You know what? There's a lot of things that we're automating, but there's a lot of things that we still need people to do. So
Yeah,
just
yeah.
maybe different services.
Yep, I know.
Okay,
This
so
is
we're going to
gonna
talk about that.
talk
And that's
for a
pretty
long
exciting.
time.
That's right. And then we got something in our features where things you didn't know. We're going to be talking about EA's new COO, Laura Miele. She has been promoted. She is one of the most influential people in electronic arts. We're going to talk about a little bit of her background as she got promoted. That's fantastic. We're going to talk about where she started out and some of the series and some of the games she has helped develop. And she's got a pretty good track record. I think if you listen to what she's done and what she's kind of spearheaded as her brainchild ideas, I think you're going to be pretty impressed.
Okay.
All right. And where do you go for all this great technology information? You go to techtimeradio.com. That's techtimeradio.com. If you want to be a part of our show and call in, you can definitely get a hold of David. We got some open call time available today at 425-373-5527 if you're in the Seattle area. Or you can always call the 188 number at 188-298-KKNW. That's 188-298-KKNW 5569. And he'll get the question on the air so we can ask that. All right. David, here we go. Mike, here we go. We're going to start with our Love Shack question of the day. And when does Love Shack air, David?
Love Shack Live airs every Thursday afternoon, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. right here on AM 1150, KKNW. Programming reminder, Thursday, October 14th, Mr. Mike Gorday will be on joining Tom and Stacey on Love Shack Live.
Oh, that'd be exciting. You need to ask her that if we can get some more conversational cards. Ask her if they have like a series 2.
We're running out.
We are running out after being on the, we've been on this for over a year now.
Yeah,
David has been with us for a
I
year.
was there the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a year, at the end of this month, I think.
Yeah, it is. That is correct. So that at the
we
Halloween time.
We started in the radio studio in October of 2020.
Yeah, the second week of October. So this is like our last week before we started. Next week would be when we actually started in here.
Yeah. Maybe
and then we came in. And,
maybe you can dress up or something.
Well, to celebrate that?
Yeah.
Well, I get October 30th to dress up too.
Yeah. Okay.
So
wear a bright yellow shirt or a bright green one.
You want me to wear a bright yellow one tomorrow? I'm gonna wear the biggest, brightest yellow shirt.
And get the biggest number 1 balloon you've ever have and put it right there in the back.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
We're number 1.
Yeah, why not?
David always signals we're number 1 all the time.
I don't
you know
think
that?
we should encourage him. Yeah, he's always giving us a 1-finger salute.
That's right. Okay. All right. Here's the question: What is the most misunderstood? What is most misunderstood about you?
What's most misunderstood about me is the way I think, the way my brain works.
Okay, and how does your brain work?
Well, I can't tell you how it works. It's just that's I don't think the way other people think, or I don't think the way most people think. So I get a lot of people who think I'm weird or crazy or, well,
Okay. All right. Wow, that took a deep little turn there, David, didn't it?
Well,
yeah, it did.
All right.
I'm very well educated. I learn a lot about stuff that people don't care about.
You're the lie detector guy type of deal. That's what I used to always.
Yeah, I study faces. I study facial movements. I also study stuff like black holes and astrophysics and things like that. I have a whole. Not that I'm going to school for any of that, but I like to learn about these things. And if I talk about black holes with most people, they just kind of glaze over and they don't want to listen anymore. So
I'm listening still.
Yeah, so am I.
Yeah,
okay. All right. David, the question goes to you. What is most misunderstood about you?
That I am not a mean umpire, okay, parents, if you're listening out there. I'm just following the Little League rule book.
How many parents have you thrown out?
I haven't thrown out any, because if I have to throw out anybody, coach, parent, kid, then I got to do paperwork, and I really do not want to do it.
That is,
you really got to do paperwork?
Yes, you have to go to do you guys use Arbiter for your scheduling?
I don't know. They just say go upstairs, fill out the form, give it to our league president, and then go from there.
This is fascinating to me. Is this like an incident report type of thing?
Yeah. I do that when I officiate high school basketball for the state of Washington. If I throw out a coach, I have to do a whole report too. So let me just tell you, when I go over and a coach is yelling and screaming at me on the sidelines, I'm like, listen, dude, I have no time for paperwork tonight. I want to get home at like 10 or 11 o'clock tonight without ruining my deal.
So you try to reason with him?
Yeah, just sit down. If I miss the call, who cares?
Yeah,
sit
exactly.
down. You're not playing for the NBA championship, and I don't want to do paperwork. Shut up. And you know what? It actually works.
Yeah, somebody this morning actually thought that the kid was running over another kid. I'm like, I didn't see anything because I don't want to.
Yeah, you just don't want to.
I don't want to do paperwork.
I didn't see anything.
Although, one more thing really quick. One of the moms came up to me after the game and said I was one of the best umpires they had. So
you're out of here.
I'm sure she was on the winning team too, right?
I think so, yeah.
I've never had a parent ever say that I was the best official when I'm on a losing team.
Sure.
That's all right. So what's most misunderstood about me? So I'm kind of like the good cop, bad cop.
You're officiant?
Was that?
You're officiating?
My officiating. There you go. No. So a lot of people do good cop, bad cop. And I always normally end up taking the stance, whatever business decision, to normally be the bad cop. And people think that I enjoy being the bad cop on those. Most of the time, I do not. So the most misunderstood is I do not enjoy being the bad cop. But I know that it has to be accomplished, and most people cannot do the bad cop. They want to be the good cop. So I always volunteer to be the bad cop.
Really? So
Yeah.
you're the one that if you're counseling somebody, you're like, look, this is, you suck and you're going home and you're never coming back kind of thing?
Well, so I'd say, like, let's say I'm doing a contract negotiation, right?
Yeah.
So let's say that for a business. And all of a sudden the guy that's trying to sell us whatever, comes and says, hey, I really like to sell this, this is really good. And I may be like totally enthralled saying, yeah, I really want this product. This is fantastic. So do I. And then all of a sudden
you start picking it apart?
And all of a sudden my coworker will be like, I don't know if I really like it. I'll say, okay, well, why don't you kind of express those things in the meeting? Oh, no, I'm not going to express that. No, I don't want to do that. So I'm like, okay, so write it down, and I will then say all the stuff that you're upset about and don't like, and I'll take that on and do that type of deal so that I can be the bad guy, and then you can still be the good guy.
So you volunteer to be the punching bag.
So I've done that. Yeah, you can ask Gwen, one of our producers. Ask her how many times, next time on this Thursday upcoming meeting, ask Gwen, one of our producers at the previous company that I worked at, a copier company. I won't say their names, but a copier company. How many times I would take the bad that's right. I would take the bad cop stance on any negotiation that we were doing with a contractor or a vendor. And most of the time I was the person that really wanted it, but I would end up taking that deal because the other person did not want to be that aggressive.
Do you do that when you go buy a car?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you're that guy.
I'm the guy that walks away and say, yeah, screw that. I'm not going to pay that. This is what I told you to pay. Yeah, as a car person.
I
used to sell cars.
I sold cars when I first got here because I couldn't find a job in my field, so I actually became a car salesman.
Yeah,
worst job ever.
Yeah, they're pretty sleazy.
But it's part of a survival game.
Yeah.
The reason why some of them act the way they do is because they're usually the ones that's taken out of the deal first. Salespersons are usually taken out of the deal really quick because the company wants to move that car, so they're basically willing to cut the salesperson out.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So that's why, but it's a whole thing. It's a whole.
That was the guy. I would be the guy that would walk away. I'd be like, you know what? Here's the price I'm willing to pay, and then they'd be like, and then they go to look at my wife. My wife's like, oh, okay, well, I can maybe pay that part. I'll be like, wife, walk away.
Yep,
come on, let's go. Let's go.
And that's a good thing. Car sales is like a really bad marriage that nobody wants to get out of.
Is that what it is?
It's crazy. The amount of psychology in a car sales deal is nuts.
So why can't those low sticker prices and those online
car
companies are probably getting a lot of success because you don't have to deal with the salespeople?
The funny thing is that they've tried to do. Now I don't know how the online car sales things are working now, but they tried to do that before and it didn't work at all.
So if I'm going to buy a car, a big purchase, I kind of want to go and haggle with somebody. So I feel like I want to win.
Yeah. That's a part of that psychology. That's why when I got there, I figured, I feel like I'm a pretty honest guy. I know a lot about psychology. Everybody thought I was lying all the time.
Really?
Yeah. The more honest I was about something, the more I got accused of being a liar. It was the weirdest thing.
All right, so that's what you go. Look at, we're already 20 minutes in.
Yeah, I know.
David's pointing. There's a one finger. There's
all right, okay. We got off track.
All right, here we go. That was pretty fun, though. Let's go right into our first segment that we have on docket right now.
That segment.
Welcome to the TechTime Radio Steals and Deals. Pay close attention to the Steal of the Week.
All right, here we go. We're gonna do a deal. You're up first.
All right, so you like iPad Pros?
I do.
You're like a Mac guy, right? You got a lot.
So I like both, right? I like Mac and PC almost exactly the same.
Okay, well,
I do like an iPad Pro. Yeah.
Yeah, you can get previous generations. Woot is having a big sale on 2019 and 2020 iPad Pros, knocking some 12.9-inch models down to $769.
Oh, I may have to get one.
Apple's most powerful iPad hasn't changed much in look over the past few years, but the 2021 models got a big upgrade in performance with the MI processor. If you're comfortable with skipping that and a number of other smaller updates, you could save a bunch and still get a powerful iPad.
All right. I think it was the M1, not MI, but M1. Does it say
M1?
M1. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. So mine is, we're going to go right back to Apple. I got the Mac Mini M1. I actually purchased one of these for company just this week. Apple's Mac M1 is down to an all-time low price of $600 thanks to a sale. When you add an automatically applied coupon, you're getting the best performance available by the M1 chipset in a compact desktop package. It's a good machine to get you If you have an older desktop that needs replacing, don't spend a ton of money on it. You can go and buy the Mac Mini M1 at Amazon right now for $600.
Nice.
Nice deal. All right, you're up next.
All right. You want a 75-inch Hisense U6G series quantum dot 4K Android TV. That's a mouthful.
Yeah. If you do, you better make sure you get the HDMI 2.1
That's right.
cable.
You better have the right cables.
Otherwise, you're going to be.
It's going to suck.
Yep.
So this massive TV, a smart TV, is $255 off, bringing it down to $995.
Oh, that's a good price.
It has local dimming zones for better brightness, quantum dot technology for rich colors, and it supports Dolby Vision and Atmos. It also has auto low latency mode for better gaming, and Android TV gives you an access to a plethora of streaming service, including Netflix and Prime Video. And it looks like you can get this at Best Buy and Amazon for the same price, $995.
Oh, that's a good deal. All right, Microsoft Elite Series 2 controller. The Xbox Elite Series 2 controller is $30 off right now, bringing it down to an all-time low of $150. This was released last year, and on top of being compatible with the Xbox Series X, the Elite Series 2 controller has the new USB-C port, a rechargeable battery, interchangeable thumbsticks, programmable profiles, Bluetooth, and more. You can buy the Elite Series 2 controller at Amazon for $150.
Nice. NordVPN.
Okay.
One of our favorite VPNs.
I use it. I use it.
You use it. I don't use it. Mine is Viper.
Okay, it's Viper. Okay,
right.
But let's. Is there a sale on the NordVPN?
Yep.
Okay.
Running a sale on 2-year subscriptions. You can sign up and pay $99 for 2 years. Plus, you get an extra 3 months free. NordVPN is great for its speed, no login policy, and the thousands of servers it has to choose from. And that one account supports up to 6 connected devices, and you buy that on NordVPN for $99.
That's a good deal. If you want, it's not the best VPN. Viper's better.
Viper's better.
But let me just tell you, if you want a very good VPN,
it is a very good VPN. Yeah,
it's not the best, but it's not like
we would consider that
lowest.
To be the
middle level,
or
middle
the secondary to Viper.
To Viper, that's correct. All right, here we go. Good old games. Have you ever heard of good old games?
You know, I think I have.
Okay, GOG.com is having.
GOG Games.
GOG Games has its anniversary party sales through October 6th. If you go to GOG.com, they have more than 120 games on sales with up to 90% off on most of their games. This includes all-time classics like Blood Omen, Elvira, Baldur's Gate, Dishonored, Wolfenstein, Cuphead, and more.
Wow.
To see the information, all you got to do is go to GOG.com and take a look at their anniversary party sale.
Woohoo.
And our steal of the week.
What's our steal of the week?
Comic-Con 2022 Sweepstakes. How about if I told you how you could go to Comic-Con for free? Through December 8th, if you enter to win, you can win a 4-day pass to the San Diego Comic-Con in 2022. Along with passes, you'll get access to special preview nights, reserved seating in Hall H, a personal concierge, a private tour of the Comic-Con Museum, dinner at Bouloba Park, and tickets to the Night at the Comic-Con Museum event. It's free to enter right now if you go to Omaze. It's www.omaze.com.
O-M-A-Z-E?
omaze.com/products /Comic-Con 2021. So if you just go to omaze.com and search for Comic-Con 2021, you will get passes for the 2022 version and enter a chance to win 4-day passes to San Diego Comic-Con. Absolutely free.
Nice. Why are we talking about San Diego's and not Emerald City?
Well,
they don't have a cool deal?
I don't know. They don't have a steal. Where the steal is where you don't have to pay anything.
The Emerald City Comic-Con is happening this December.
So the private tour of the Comic-Con Museum, the dinner at Boulobo Park, and the tickets to the Night of Comic-Con Museum event alone normally sell for $1,000.
Wow.
So that's
crazy.
a $1,000 event right there, not coming along with the 4-day passes.
You would think that something that caters to nerds would know that nerds spend all their money on tech.
They do. So here you go. www.omaze.com /products /Comic-Con 2021.
There you go.
And that gets you through our steals and deals of the week. We're going to take a commercial break. I'm Nathan Mumm. We got Mike Gorday here and David Brown behind the board. We'll see you right after this.
Upper Left Corner is a PNW true crime podcast now streaming on all major podcast platforms. If you get excited when your favorite true crime podcast tells a story about a place that you've been to or the town that you live in, then Upper Left Corner podcast is for you. Each week, I tell you a story of a crime that has taken place in the PNW and give you background about the town the crime occurred in. If you like true crime, check out Upper Left Corner podcast, now available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and more.
Ace Hardware is a helpful place with prompt, friendly service, knowledge, and the little things that make a big difference.
Service.
Selection.
Advice.
Community involvement.
Competitive prices.
Convenience.
Located near you.
And the things you need, such as
house keys,
lawn and garden,
plumbing,
electrical,
hardware,
grills,
outdoor living supplies,
and even nuts and bolts.
When you visit Ace Hardware, you'll be greeted at the door and given the help you need.
So come visit us at Ace Hardware in Evergreen Way in Everett, Lake Stevens, and now Stanley.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
What is that noise right before the? It sounds like a shaker. Or something.
It is. They're rolling dice.
Is it a dice shaker?
Yeah, this is called gambling on the strip. That's
Okay.
what the music was that
I couldn't figure out if it's dice or ice in a glass.
I think it's dice because it's gambling on the strip. Well, it could be ice too, though, right? Like a high-end drink that they're pouring for you.
Yeah, sure.
That is my favorite music to come back into, though. I like that one.
Okay.
All right,
Let's
here we
get
go
on with Phill.
All right, up next we have our robotics and technology expert Phill Hennessy joining us. Will robots soon be running McDonald's when you visit? That's the question
That's
I'm going to
what
ask.
McDonald's wants.
Yep, now's the time to grab a pencil and take some notes because we have our expert joining us as we start our next segment.
This is a segment we call Ask the Experts.
All right.
I don't see him yet. Where is he?
Phil's coming up. There he is. All right. Oh, and he's got some whiskey.
He's got.
Or is that some vodka?
Is that vodka?
Is that vodka or whiskey? Oh,
I can't read it.
I can't. It says
Tullamore.
Tullamore Dew. Is it Tullamore Dew?
Yeah, it's my dad and I went to Ireland.
I can't hear you. I think you're on mute. Are you on mute, Phil?
No.
Phil's saying he's not on mute. We're not hearing you though.
We're not hearing. Hang on.
David's gonna take a look at it. He's got it.
Hear me now?
All right. David said, "Oh, that was a new one. That was a talk thing."
That means keep talking, buddy.
That means he's got to
figure out the technical issue.
All right, here we go. So we're going to start out the segment with from cocktails making to burger flipping. Many foods in the beverage business are beginning to discover the benefits of using robots to improve their productivity. The automation revolution has begun. All right. Is David found a way to get him? David is shaking his head no, so that means we're going to continue on to talk about this. We'll ask him questions when he comes on back. I always have back-end stories, so in case this happens.
That's right. Well, this has happened a couple of times.
It has. So, you know what?
Because technology
doesn't always work.
when it doesn't work.
You know what? When you expect it to work and it doesn't work, then you get upset. All right, so let's talk specifically regarding some autonomous vehicles. And you're a big excited person regarding this, right?
No.
So, I know. So we're going to talk about the self-driving delivery startup Neuro, or N-U-R-O, is partnering with Domino's to deliver pizzas in Houston.
Yep.
Here's what happens. Neuro is a self-driving delivery startup, and essentially it will come and create with an autonomous vehicle the ability to deliver goods from stores to customers' houses. The California-based startup has previously partnered with other companies like Walmart and CVC Pharmacy. The insider's homepage of the stories essentially says that Neuro, a self-driving delivery startup, is partnering with Domino's to deliver fresh pizzas to select customers around the Houston area. Its product fits squarely into the delivery e-commerce industry. It is a small-sized vehicle which will essentially come up and go to your specific GPS address to deliver products from a storefront to a customer's house.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. We talked about this in the Thursday
and one
meeting,
of the comments you made was that I'm just going to go and pick that up and carry it away because it's so small.
Yeah, so I did say that, right? I said what happens if I just go? So it's a pretty small device. It's a non-licensed device because it's not a vehicle. It's like a motor scooter that you would have, or one of these little.
There's all kinds of issues that I have with these things. One is it has to interact with people.
Okay.
How does it know that it's getting the pizza to the right person?
So it goes to the GPS location of what I found about this, because I know that you were going to say that. Goes to the GPS location, and you have to be there and say accept. It sends you a code, in their app. And so, like, if it's a Domino's Pizza app, you're going to get a code. You're going to have to type in that code to open its side compartment to allow you access to the pizza.
Okay, what happens when that doesn't work?
You're kind of like we have audio things
effed.
like. So I think have you seen their Domino's Pizza ads where they guarantee a delivery if you pull up for 2 minutes or your pizza's free?
Yeah,
right?
that's like they used to do when it says we deliver in under 30 minutes or your pizza's free.
Yeah,
remember that?
Yeah, I would remember that. But then all of a sudden they must.
Now it's 2 minutes.
Now it's 2 minutes if you pull up to the front of it. So this little device goes on sidewalks and on the street. So essentially, you could be jogging in Texas, right? Where this is being then jogging on the road. See this little it's a green device strolling up the sidewalk with little beep 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 noises, so that you don't do that. How do you not pick that up? If I had a truck with, I don't have a truck, but if I had a truck with a bed, why wouldn't I just pick up that device? I'm sure there's some type of alarm and it go up. But who's the police cop for that?
Not just that, but it's got to alert people that it's there, so it's relying on everybody else to maintain distance from it.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So that's the big if about this kind of stuff. That's the same thing with the drones.
Yeah.
Amazon was trying a drone delivery service and
they kind of let that go by.
Let that go by because why?
Because you know what? Because people were not being there to get the drone delivery.
Right.
They couldn't have the proper mechanics to make sure you get it, especially with these housing complexes.
Mm-hmm.
When you pull into a housing complex, you may have 50, 60 buildings. How do you get to apartment C 502
I know.
and make sure that you deliver that on a drone deal when you're coming on in? What are you going to just put it out in the standard area and then let it take care of, and then you have another 500 people that are going to be like, there's an Amazon package.
And then while it's cruising up that sidewalk, hey, maybe there's a bunch of kids who've been partying. They're like, hey, there's the pizza thing, and they roll it onto the ground and break into it and get your pizza.
Yeah. I mean, you can easily get vandalized, right? What are you going to do? It's got an alert. It's going to go beep, beep, beep. Oh, I'm being attacked. I'm being attacked.
On paper, it sounds really cool, but in actuality, when it interacts with the human world, it creates a lot of problems. And that's my problem with it is when it interacts with the human world. Is it really that efficient? And I'm going to say no at this point.
Okay.
There is the caveat that people are going to get used to this stuff, so they're going to be avoiding it better. But the fact of the matter is there's so many variables from where that thing disconnects from the battery charger and drives to the place where it needs to go. There's so many variables between point A and point B that I don't think this is going to be a really efficient way of doing it. So this was Neuro doing the pizza delivery. There's another delivery service that we were talking about that's like
it's a taco company.
Yeah, the taco place.
The taco
El
place.
Pollo Loco.
Yeah, and they're going to be delivering all of their food on drones.
No, wait a minute.
It was drones.
That's right. El Pollo Loco is trying the Amazon thing.
Yes, they're trying the drones thing.
Who is the other company that was trying the Neuro ground crawling?
So it was both the pizza company and their Domino's Pizza, and it was also there was another company too. I can't remember the other company. I just know that Domino's Pizza is actively using it.
Yeah, Domino's was the first one, and then we were just reading about
CVC is using it, and Walmart's using it also, and other companies are jumping it. Yeah, CVC pharmacies. Yeah, just think of that.
Yeah, that's.
See, so
I'm going to put a big X on that one.
You're getting.
Yeah, somebody's going to. If I thought the pizza was going to get broken into, the pharmaceutical one is going to get moshed a lot.
You get drugs that are coming to your house. I need some codeine.
Here comes the drug robot.
It's right there available for you. Then you get a call on your phone saying there's drugs at the border, and it's just really drugs on the
maybe that's my courier.
But see, so what happens if you steal one? So here's my biggest thing: is what happens if you steal that unit? So let me say I throw it in the back of my
GPS on it. Right?
Okay, so it's got a GPS on it. So who cares? But what cop is going to come to my house saying that I think you have the Neuro delivery system in here because the GPS showed us that it's here? Oh, sorry, officer. I guess I have it. Or they say, no, I don't have it. What are you talking about? Is they going to be like, I'm going to search your house for this robot?
Well, they could.
You think so?
Yeah. There could be probable cause in that. I don't know.
So
if they're saying there's a report that there's a GPS signal coming out of your garage from a stolen Neuro Robotics pizza
company
delivery robot,
yeah,
we need to check your garage.
Okay, so let's
And
say
you're like, no.
Okay, so I break into this bot. I steal my pizza.
Yeah.
And I got some pharmaceuticals on the side because I
That's
decided.
crazy.
All
See,
right,
that doesn't make any. See, the people making these decisions.
in
that just
Walmart,
doesn't make any.
I got some new clothing, some Walmart clothing too, right? So
Yeah,
it's delivered.
I don't know why Walmart is doing it anyway.
So you can tell
they're
me
just going to have it travel around and take pictures of all the people.
the
in Walmart.
crazy people in
The crazy
Walmart.
people, yeah.
Yeah. So I have no idea what Walmart customer is going to want a high-end delivery drone to their house. I mean, I've walked into Walmart sometimes, but
what is Walmart delivering? They're not. They're of course. I'm sure they're not delivering these big old TVs.
probably not, right?
Right. So they're delivering clothes and the whole med thing that just really boggles me.
Okay, so let's talk about McDonald's, all right? So I was going to ask,
but El Pollo Loco, go to the El Pollo Loco.
Okay,
thing,
so
'cause they're doing the Amazon thing.
So they're doing drone delivery,
right?
So you got to do a minimum purchase of $10. Okay.
Okay.
So that's really nothing if you take a look at it, right?
No, not in today's day.
Okay, so $10 to have that taken care of.
I need some tacos.
So then all of a sudden you get it. It will deliver to your house. It'll be out there. It will beep at you, and it will tell you when it's available through their app. So I go on up and I take it from the drone itself, and the drone flies off.
Okay.
Okay. So for
sure
$10. So you're telling me the technology to deliver that is probably more than the $10 order that I will ever do. How do you guarantee that in rain it's going to be delivered? Is it all of a sudden I go to order my deal and it says, sorry, there's winds that are happening right now?
Yeah,
sorry,
you're
you
in a
have
hurricane,
winds.
yeah.
We have rain that's happening. We have too much sunlight that's happening because sunlight can.
But what if you're not there? What if you're running late? Because this happens a lot when you're delivering food too. The people are not at home,
like Uber Eats, right? So both of us have done Uber Eats on the side as a little side hustle for some fun.
This is you get some crazy stuff going on. You know, that's the problem. What I'm talking about, people. There's too many variables with people. Like people will order food and they'll have it delivered and they're not even at the house. They'll like call you right in the middle of your delivery and say, "Oh, shoot, we're at this other place."
Yeah, I ordered it. I just didn't think you'd be so quick. You're like, okay, well, I'm not going to be waiting.
Yeah,
for
please
you,
don't cancel. Is this thing going to fly over your house? And if you're not waiting and to give it whatever little code, is just going to drop your food right there on the ground?
So let's say it is raining, right? And it's cold, and you're delivering food. How is it? Then all of a sudden I order tacos. I get cold frozen tacos by the time the bag's soaking wet.
The bag,
I get it. So then all of a sudden I just get a mishmash of stuff.
Yeah,
my drink isn't able to be on the. How do you deliver a drink? If I order a combo meal, am I getting a drink or not?
Yeah, not to mention the amount of problems that the drone can suffer from not just flying from one point A to point B, but also from people hucking rocks at it or shooting BB guns at it. Or wasn't there a case where like an eagle attacked one?
Yeah, so eagles attacked them and took a drone down. Just think if you're flying and an animal
really
actually gets
some
that.
Tacos.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
El Pollo. You need some El Pollo.
All right, so let's go talk about McDonald's.
Okay, let's talk about
McDonald's is spending billions, not even millions of dollars.
Oh, I know.
Billions of dollars on the automated process for ordering food.
Right.
Okay, so I pull into McDonald's, and so it was a test case where they had like 10 restaurants that had this automated, essentially it's like Siri or Alexa, any of these type of automated deal. Now they have over 100 restaurants using this automated service.
Right.
They say that it's more polite because sometimes if you're...
I believe that, actually.
Do you believe that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if you do drive-thrus.
Yeah. I do drive-thrus.
But things have changed a lot since
with the person running the drive-thru thing.
Oh my God. I pulled into Dairy Queen and ordered do you know what a mulatte is?
Yeah.
I ordered a mulatte.
It's a latte with milk.
It's this little coffee drink thing that they have, and I hate the name, but I use the name because that's what their name. And the woman the girl, she's a young girl, starts arguing with me and telling me in the drive-through that they don't do coffee drinks. And I'm like, it's a mulatte. We don't do lattes. It's a mulatte. We don't do lattes. It's a moo latte. I'm sorry, sir, but we don't do coffee drinks. And I'm like, are you seriously arguing with me about this? I come and get this stuff all the time.
From the same place?
From the same place.
From the same place. So they had a brand new gal, probably didn't know all the offerings because there's so many.
It's the level. I mean, I remember when I was a kid.
Yeah.
you took these jobs really seriously.
Uh-huh.
And now it seems like there's not.
Yeah, when I was 15, I was bussing tables.
Right.
Right.
So I pull up, and I'm pulling up to the thing, and I have to talk to the manager. Like, do you guys not do moo lattes? She's like, of course we do. That's what I ordered. She was arguing with me over the intercom that you guys don't do this anymore. And I'm like, okay.
Well, McDonald's is going to fix this.
If a robot's going to be more polite to me, at this point, I'm okay with it.
You're okay with it. So they say that they have over 100 stores that have implemented this now.
Uh-huh.
Essentially, when you go on up to the drive-thru, it will ask you to welcome to McDonald's. It does a whole little speech, which they can actually speed up the speech recognition, is what they say, to run at a 1.5 speed to almost 2 times the speed of what an American English accented person can say through the drive-thru. So you can actually clearly hear it and have it taken care of itself.
We got to go for a break.
Okay, so we're going to talk about.
Got a hand signal.
Oh, we did. So we're going to take a commercial break. When we come on back, we are going to continue our discussion about McDonald's. We'll see if Phil is able to join us on the show, and we will talk to you then.
McDonald's.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. Story Coffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at storycoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at storycoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
Hi, this is Lisa Downs, host of Reigniting You, a new show here on KKNW that explores a variety of topics and timely issues for making mid to late career transitions. I'll be here every Wednesday afternoon at 3 o'clock bringing you guest interviews, career transition advice, and great stories to guide you to what's next in your career and life. Gain a renewed sense of purpose for your next phase with a positive, forward-looking approach. Get ready to be re-energized, recharged, and reignited Wednesdays at 3 o'clock.
Your favorite?
That's my favorite.
This is your favorite? All right. Well, welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. We're going to get right into it. We got Phil on. You know what? Sometimes you have a technology glitch, so we're going to get him on the phone.
Yeah, I hate technology.
So, thank goodness it's not a voice over IP phone that is being trampled on.
Yeah, that's right.
So otherwise we'd be in trouble.
DDoS attacks.
That's right. So hopefully, Phil, you can hear us on the phone.
I can. I just had to get a charger because my phone's about to die.
Uh-oh. That's
boy, technology's working against us really badly today.
Just today, Phil, I'm sorry to hear that, but hopefully we can get through some of these questions. I did talk about, I went ahead and me and you talked about kind of leading into the show what we're going to talk about. So I've already talked about the delivery vehicles that Mike hates. So we talked about that we could steal.
I don't hate them. I just don't think they're going to be that
You don't think
effective.
they're going to be we talked about drones delivering information. So let's go right and tacos. Let's go right into this and talk about. You did a study on all of the automated technology that is coming on out for restaurants, sit-down restaurants or fast food restaurants, right?
Yep.
All right. So tell me a little bit about what was the coolest thing that you have. I got some questions here about Sally, the salad-making robot, but what was the most interesting aspect that you learned about with this before we start asking you some drilling questions?
Sure. Well, actually, I thought the coolest thing I saw was the Truebird Micro Cafe for coffee. I saw the videos of that too. And basically, it's super slick. It's like a European industrial design. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And when the cup comes down after it's full of coffee, or actually while it's filled by the milk and the coffee, sugar and everything, they have these three devices that are controlled by magnets underneath the wood. So it looks like these three magical little black discs just kind of swirling around, and it pushes the coffee around each thing and then pushes it out to you. It's just absolutely cool.
Oh, wow. So do you think this is something that Starbucks would use or independent coffee places would use?
Independent coffee places and airports and all that kind of stuff. It's called Truebird, and it's a fully automated micro cafe. And it was absolutely some of the coolest engineering I saw as a research. The other one that was just, I think is just really hard to do is the burger flipping robot. They're using an industrial robot arm and then the vision, automatic AI, and their vision perception systems, and they can tell when the further systems, they can tell when the burger's going to be done on each side, and then put it onto a burger bun.
So that means you get no burnt burgers then.
That's correct.
I don't get burnt burgers anyway, so I don't know about that.
You don't do it. Sometimes I go to a Burger King. If I go,
I don't.
I go Burger King.
The problem is
it's
I don't use these restaurant places anymore.
You don't,
except for the occasional Dairy Queen Moo Latte, which I have to argue about
because they don't know what you're ordering.
They don't
right?
know what I'm ordering.
All right, so let's talk about Sally the salad making robot. What is Sally the salad making robot, Phil?
Well, that's and this is where I would consider that this type of robot is just really an advanced kiosk or vending machine, where it has a bunch of inside. It's a refrigerated vending machine. It has a bunch of silos of all the different types of. I think up to 8 salad ingredients, right? And then you type in on the front pad what you want, and then it goes ahead and it dumps it all into switches around and dumps it all into a bowl. And then you take it out. So that's one of the least complex out of the things that I've been looking at. So it's really a very, very advanced vending machine. Some of the other stuff that people are doing are much more advanced robotics. You could have done it 5 years ago, 10 years ago, still, because it's really just a very advanced vending machine.
Okay, so how about the interactive robot bartender? That was interesting to me. That's
interactive. About this one, Nate.
You do that, right? So we got alcohol in here. You got it.
Interactive robot. Do you tell it its woes and it gives you advice?
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. Like the bartender. I mean, are they there as a listening arm, or you can just talk into the arm too? So tell me about this.
No, actually, it does both. It actually wants to interact with you. It'll interact with you. I watched the demos on this one too, and supposedly it'll interact with you and you can tell it its ear woes. I don't know how well and like you might, but that's what it's saying. But then they have a bunch of different mixed drinks that you can do, and it takes about 30 seconds to make that drink and pop one out to you. So it has everything in the background, in the back, all the different alcohols, and you have a bunch of different drinklets you can make, and then it pops out to you. It has in the front a big video of this woman, bartender. And she'll engage with you, and you can talk to her a little bit, and that's where the AI is coming in. It's really advanced vending machine, but with the AI interface, with this avatar of a woman that you can talk to.
So that's interesting.
So it's a woman.
Well, yeah.
So it's a woman. It's a woman. What if I wanted the man guy?
Well, I'm sure there's a male
version
avatar
of that too.
Yeah,
you can put it on there too. Okay.
Or whatever.
Okay, so the next thing, a pizza making.
It's going to be something else. Right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. All of a sudden, you could have it be whatever.
But that's funny, because when we talk about these robots taking over jobs, the speculation is that these mechanical things can replace almost every single job but therapists.
That's true, and something else, and that's going to be the very end. I'm going to ask Phil on what jobs will stay stationary, because we talked about this. So next we go on to a pizza making robot. What does this pizza making robot do?
So what I find interesting in this one is that it's modular and it has different sections to put on. If you want to add, you have the basic pizza. You have the dough that comes rolled out, right? And then you have all these different modules you can add on to this machine, where you can add the sauce, the cheese, the extra cheese, the pepperoni, the mushrooms. So every single ingredient you want to add another module to this. It gets pretty long. I mean, like maybe like 3 foot long each section, 2 foot long each section. So every ingredient you want to do it gets longer. But I mean, it basically takes it, and you can put this into a stadium or at another type of thing like that, venue, college, campus. You want to have hot pizza somewhere, and this thing just rolls through. And what I find on this one, though, we talk about the end, to take care of this thing, because all these individual little conveyors that have all these pepperoni, the olives, the mushrooms, onions, and I'm like, how does this thing maintain? Right? I mean, you got a lot of food there, and you got to maintain it. So it's very, very cool, but the maintenance to me would be tough.
You know what? And one thing that's not going away is the person that has to clean
the janitor.
Up. Yeah, that's what we talked about, isn't it, Phil? We said the most important job still is going to be the janitor to clean up all this mess,
which is the one job most people don't want to do.
I know. So all of a sudden we're getting rid of the.
We're getting rid of the jobs people wanted. And again, this is there's a lot of ethical stuff going on around with about what is it going to look like to and the human portion of it and all the jobs that we're eliminating and what that's going to do to the overall economy and all this other stuff, But there's always going to be a janitor
that has to clean up. All right, I got one more question.
And a therapist.
One more question, then I'm going to take a commercial break, and we're going to bring you back, Phil, since we had a little bit of time to do something else. So my next question is, tell me about Smile Robotics, the plate collecting robot. So is this essentially a robot that is a busing robot for restaurants?
Yeah, but so it's all right, so Mike, you're going to jump in on this one, I'm sure. So this is a robot that goes to your table, and then you have to bust your own table.
Oh,
what?
Wow! So you got to do all the work of the cleanup person.
Yeah. Well, so these robots, right? The food comes out to you on these waiter type robots. Then you got to take the food yourself, put it onto your table, and then when you're done, it'll come. You put your plate on there, and it'll go. Well, if I'm going to go to a restaurant, I want to go to a restaurant.
Yeah, I don't want to be busting my own table.
Well, to be fair, I've been to restaurants where I actually have to hand the plates to the person anyway.
Do you really?
Yeah. Because they stand there looking like, duh.
They don't know what to do. All right, okay, we're going to take a commercial break. Phil, I got a question for you. Will drones ever deliver restaurant food to people's houses in our lifetime? I want you to think about it. I'm going to ask you when we come on back. We'll take a commercial break. I'm Nathan Mumm, Mike Gorday here, and David Brown behind the board. We'll see you after this. Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, are you bored of TV? Like drugs but can't afford them? Or still paying alimony?
Maybe.
All right, read How to See a Man About a Dog, collected writing. It's surreal. It's strange. It's How to See a Man About a Dog. Get your dose of surreal prose and poetry with the Stark Comedy Collection.
Ebook available on Kindle Unlimited. Print copies are available on Amazon, the Book Depository, and more.
That's right. I'm going to go get my ebook on Kindle Unlimited today.
Hey, babe, I hear that you can download a new voice on Siri.
No way.
Yes, it's true. It's a voice that goes, hey, you big hunk. What do you want to do and where do you want to go?
Stop it.
Oh, God. Okay, I'm kidding.
What has tech ever done for our relationships?
We can't talk about that on the radio.
If you want to eavesdrop on juicy conversations that no one is having around all things love, sex, and relationships, join us right here, 1 p.m. on KKNW and wherever you get your podcast.
We look forward to seeing you in the Love Shack.
How to See a Man About a Dog. It combines darkly comic short stories, powerful poems, and pulp fiction prose to create a heartbreaking and hilarious journey readers will not soon forget. Read How to See a Man About a Dog, collected writings, for free with Kindle Unlimited. Ebook available on Kindle, print copies available on Amazon, the Book Depository, and more.
All right, welcome back to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm. We got Mike Gorday here and David Brown behind the board. And Phil, we had some technical disabilities, but we are getting through those.
Difficulties.
Well, disabilities too. So we're going to, next question we have for you. Are we ever going to have drones deliver restaurant food to people's houses in our lifetime?
I think within the next 10 to 30 years, and notice the range. Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
And the reason why is what you guys talked about already on the show is, we need to figure out where the person is. Is the house going to change because you're going to have a little place to land the drone? You're going to have some beacons to know where the drone needs to go. All these other infrastructure things you need to figure out or to get the drone to that person to deliver it, right? So some places will be really easy, some places are very difficult. So some of that will happen now, but the edge cases is what's going to be really the challenge. So if we say 100% delivery, it's 10 to 30 years.
Okay,
now people are trying it.
All right, McDonald's fast food service turning to voice order technology and drive-thrus. Explain this in full details. We were starting this, but then we got you back. Why is McDonald's doing this? Is this really going to be better? Mike likes the idea of it, but tell me what McDonald's is doing on this area.
I mean, it has the potentially better because your orders are more accurate. But people change stuff. What I'm curious on is doing all their testing is all the edge cases where I don't want pickles, or I want extra pickles, or I want extra mayo, or whatever. Is it really going to understand all that? Because we talked yesterday, going through a phone tree, it's sort of AI, it still gets lost. Or let's say Siri still gets lost when you ask a certain question. So there's so many things. When it fails, are you going to be able to talk to the person?
Yeah, as long as it doesn't argue with me about my order.
That's what it gets. All right. We are running out of time, Phil, so we're going to have to get you back so that we can get the technical difficulties taken care of. Maybe we continue our conversation maybe next week, so we have that. We do have a programming error here, or a programming delay. I was going to talk about EA's promotion of Lori Miele to the COO with her most powerful woman in gaming. We're going to do this offline, and we're going to talk about it again next week because it is a very valuable information to have. We're going to have this be a part of our first hour next week so we can really talk about this big influence on the industry itself, having a woman who's been very successful at EA over 20 years being there, being promoted to the COO in the upcoming weeks ahead. So I am Nathan Mumm. I appreciate you joining our show. We had lots of technology to talk about. If we only had an additional hour, we could talk even more. I will see you guys next week. We got Micro Day and David Brown behind the board. Have a safe and wonderful day.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment in technology today. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service from Apple to Google and everything in between. And also signing up on our YouTube page, where you get to see us live in video. Yep, you can see us chat and have some fun. It's youtube.com/TechTime Radio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host, guests, and callers, and not